A very good evening. You're watching News 9 Facebook Live with me, Adarsh Vepichedu. Well, tomorrow, that is the 30th of May, happens to be the day when Modi government 2.0 finishes 1 year in power. So, how has the first year of Prime Minister Modi been in his second term? What are your opinions about the way in which Prime Minister Modi has run the country? And what are the kind of hits and misses you feel? What are the kind of aspects where the Prime Minister has lagged? And what are the good things that the BJP government may have done? You can keep your comments coming in. But in this brief interaction that I'm going to have with you, I have a list of few very important hits and misses of Prime Minister Modi when it comes to Modi 2.0, the first year, which will complete tomorrow, that is the 30th of May. So let's start with one of the first things that comes to mind when we think of Prime Minister Modi and the BJP government that is in place right now is, of course, the Hindutva ideology, the Hindutva narrative. And that has been floated quite well by Prime Minister Modi and the BJP government. I say this because of the fact that you have at least three issues that the BJP has addressed in Prime Minister Modi's first term, and they all somewhere down the line point towards Hindutva. One, of course, is the abolition, the nullification of Article 370, which in fact grants a special status to Jammu and Kashmir. That apart, you had the BJP government bringing in the Citizenship Amendment Act, which provides citizenship to people who've come into the country before a certain cutoff date, but it does not do so for Muslims. Citizenship Amendment Act gives out citizenship to Hindus, to Christians, Parsis, Buddhists, Jains, Punjabis, but not Muslims. So that has been excluded from the Citizenship Amendment Act. Again, going on to show the Hindutva narrative that Prime Minister Modi and the BJP have floated in the first year. Apart from that, obviously, one of the most major things, highlights that come to mind when you think of Prime Minister Modi in his first term is the Ram Temple. The Ayodhya dispute, which has now been settled, the Supreme Court ruled in favor of the construction of a Ram temple, and that is clearly happening at this point in time. So these three elements, if we were to call them Article 370, Citizenship Amendment Act, and the Ram temple, have proved to be a success for the BJP in the sense that Prime Minister Modi has been able to consolidate the majority vote bank in a sense when it comes to India. And this has clearly propagated the Hindutva ideology of the BJP, and it is very clear with these three things as to what the BJP really thought before they started the second tenure of Prime Minister Modi. When we look at the kind of welfare schemes that have been launched, well, a lot has been needed on the ground, and when it comes to Prime Minister Modi's government, they've been often criticized and touted as a suit boot ki sarkar. So in a sense, to allay this very image of Prime Minister Modi, you've had several other schemes such as the Ujjwala Yojana, the DBT scheme, that is the direct benefit transfer, Jandan accounts, and even the Awas Yojana, which provides affordable housing. So you've had several welfare schemes that have been launched by Prime Minister Modi and that have been fruitful for the common man on the ground. So these are a few, right from electricity, cheap and free electricity to villages, and affordable housing, and direct benefit transfer also. So these have helped the people on the ground. So that in a sense is certainly a hit when it comes to the welfare schemes from Prime Minister Modi. Next, we have the Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. That again is something that comes to mind. The overall sanitation of our built spaces, of our cities, villages, towns, and the country as a whole has been kept a check on due to the Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. And while the country has not become fully defecation free, the amount of garbage dumping and the lack of cleanliness has been kept a check on through the Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. So that's again one hit, at least partial hit if we were to call that. There has been decisive leadership. That's something that Prime Minister Modi is known for, the top brass of BJP is known for. Firm leadership, that is something that we have seen right from the surgical strikes that took place in the 2016 and to avenge the Uri attack, that is. Subsequently in the year 2019, just last year, you had the Balakot airstrikes as well in retaliation to the Pulwama attack that took place. So all of this has, again, the way in which Prime Minister Modi has decisively acted against our enemies is something that really stands out. So that has given Prime Minister Modi a strong image. So he's built that image for himself in the last 1 year or so. It has stood out as well. Again, if we were to look at one other hit before we look at the misses of Prime Minister Modi first tenure of 2.0, another thing that comes to mind is, of course, Ayushman Bharat. While the government has not, I mean, the way the government wanted Ayushman Bharat to really pan out may not have really happened exactly that way. But Ayushman Bharat has been able to provide affordable healthcare to the bottom rung citizens of the country, and they've been able to get treatment and medicines at an affordable, at a very cheap price through the Ayushman Bharat initiative. So that healthcare has been made more accessible, and it has really proved to be a shot in the arm for at least a lot of poor and underprivileged people across the country. Now we'll in fact look at the misses that really stand out of Prime Minister Modi 2.0 economic policy. As we've been telling you from the beginning, the last 1 year or so, we've seen as to how the economy has been in doldrums. It hasn't been doing too well, and that in a sense stands out. While you have Prime Minister Modi speaking about Atmanirbhar Bharat, as to how India should be a self-reliant country and we should be able to manufacture and produce everything what we need right here in the country. We're also trying to push for FDI, for investments from abroad. So how that will pan out, we are trying to do both at once, is something of a miss. And of course, unemployment, especially due to the COVID-19 era that we are going through, the job losses, is something that will come back to haunt the Modi government. So businesses have suffered huge losses, and how will the Modi government really repair that is a question. But at this point in time, 1 year down the line of Modi 2.0, this certainly stands as a big miss. When we look at how demonetization and GST have done, well, it has been a while that demonetization was brought in, so was GST, but neither of them have really been, in a sense, proved to be successful, or they did not do what they intended to. For example, demonetization was supposed to weed out all the black money in circulation or present in the system, but that hasn't happened so efficiently. And when it comes to GST as well, there have been quite a few complications surrounding the tax laws, and that has only proved to be a big confusion and a big pain for the traders, the bottom line traders on the ground. So there has been a lot of pain in the small-time traders on the ground when it comes to GST. They've called it a big setback for them, and they only wished that GST was something that did not happen in the first place. So demonetization and GST, while you have a situation where it was done with a positive intention, it may not have really panned out the way the Modi government really wanted. Another thing that really stands out, especially in this COVID era, is the way in which our healthcare system has been crumbling. COVID-19, the entire crisis, the coronavirus crisis, has only shown the mirror to the healthcare system currently prevalent in the country. We've seen as to how hospitals and the facilities are not up to the mark to deal with a crisis like this. While you have the Ayushman Bharat doing wonders on ground for the common man, when it comes to the overall health infrastructure of the country, not much has been done, and a major upgrade is really needed on the ground. When it comes to smart India, a lot has been spoken about how India would be made smart and there would be 5G, and you will also have smart cities. As you clearly know, none of that has really happened. Smart cities plan is yet to take off, and while many countries across the world are already into 5G technology, India is yet to see 5G communication. So we are still lagging behind when it comes to the Smart India initiative. So that clearly is a major miss. Polarization, that is one of the biggest concerns, one of the biggest misses, if we were to call it, of Prime Minister Modi. Almost everything major that he has done, that which we have discussed, right from the Citizenship Amendment Act, Ram Temple, to the abrogation of Article 370, even the NRC for that matter, has been construed by the opposition and by a lot of people on the ground as somewhere down the line polarizing. So that again has, in a sense, dented the image of Prime Minister Modi. So that's what the opposition is really taking him on for, as to how he has polarized the entire country through these methods and through these initiatives. That's what the opposition has been saying, and a lot of people on the ground also feel the same way. So, a polarized atmosphere in the country, if it has been really created as the opposition claims and as several people also claim, is certainly a big miss in Prime Minister Modi's second tenure 2.0. So, these are a few hits and misses. I'm not sure if you've left your comments as to what you feel has gone right in Modi's second term or what's gone wrong. But yes, it has been 1 year. May 30th is when Prime Minister Modi's 2.0 really completes the first year. So one only hopes that the next 4 years would be better than the first year. And here's wishing Prime Minister Modi a successful tenure of another 4 years. With that, it's a wrap on this brief interaction. Many thanks for joining us. This is Adarsh Vepachedu signing off.